buses and zinger bells and white balls to hells. Baggy greens for all from New South Wales. Is the IPL heaven or hell? Will the 100 fail or do quite well? What a player! What a player! What a player!
Welcome back, everybody, to Waadaplaya this Salak Cup Kiska series. Today, we are reviewing the first game of the doubleheader in Sunday. Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals had a thumping victory over Sunrisers. SRH have a lot to think about. And Josh Butler just swept the game away single-handedly. Before we jump in, let's introduce our guest today. Adi is coming back again from San Fran. Vivek, welcome back. Appreciate your time. And then Vishak, how are you guys today?
Excellent.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Before we go into the game, just a real quick situation in India, right? We just want to make sure that everybody is aware that we continue to keep everybody in our thoughts. Stay safe. Please do not go out unless absolutely necessary. If you do have to go out, wear a mask. And when you get a chance, please do get vaccinated. Please kindly let us know if there is anything we can do on our social media handles, and we are more than happy to jump in. All right, so that's an important message. So starting with Viv, neutral audience, what did you make out of Sunrisers' performance today outside of Warner getting dropped?
I think that is the biggest thing, right? I mean, Warner for Nabi doesn't make sense, right? And sometimes we need to realize that it's sometimes not about performance. It's about the sheer presence of some of these really big players. Just imagine yesterday's match, right? With the way Pollard was going and a player like Faf du Plessis, who is an excellent fielder. Look at the nervousness in the field. So look at what big players can create. See the kind of pressure which they can create. And you're actually chasing 200 and you don't have a Warner. And you have Nabi in the team, but you've given him only 1 over, which is towards the later part, not in the initially in the first 10 overs. Something is wrong there.
Yeah. And Vishak and Adi, what is your thoughts on Warner dropping and the game result?
I think Warner, it was expected because they dropped him from captaincy and even he took responsibility. So we were expecting Warner to be dropped. But if you see even in the previous games, right, this match is in Delhi. And at Delhi, it's like the spinners are not performing. It's not helping the spinners. Even if you see yesterday, right, Mumbai dropped Jayant Yadav exactly for this purpose. And these guys have gone in with an extra spinner. So that didn't make sense. And again, this being a batting pitch, they should have gone with a proper batsman. Jason Roy would have definitely made sense on this pitch. I think their selection was a bit of a problem here. If you're dropping Warner, you need to have a similar aggressive player at the top. That's what they missed. Manish Pandey is kind of a grafter. He cannot chase you 220 any day. So that should have been ideally with, they should have gone with Jason Roy. That could have made sense.
Yeah. And Adi, I know you completely agree with the changes which SRH have made, but clearly Warner's gap has been felt, right? I think he's been doing his bit, whatever may be the case. Don't you think?
No, I actually disagree with all three of you. I feel, there is, even after the end of the last match, I was the one who went out on a limb when everyone was disagreeing, and people also on Twitter were also like, why no? But I was like, you should drop him because I've been watching SRH from 2013, right? The larger challenge with Warner, what was happening was his lack of consistency with the bat. Because if you look at the previous years, he would always score at 140 to 150 strike rate at an average over 40. He probably, and he definitely is in my mind, the most consistent batsman ever in IPL history. You're scoring for 6 seasons in a row, each season 500 plus runs, 40 plus average, 150 plus strike rate. No one has done that. Every player has one off season or a few off matches, be it Rohit, be it Kohli, be it Gale, or be it AB de Villiers. There have been seasons where they haven't done well. Warner, he's been so super consistent. And the other bigger challenge is SRH is so dependent on their overseas batsmen. That is by design. You have to.
True.
That is a challenge with the team management for not buying good Indian batsmen. That is a bigger problem. That has always been there. It is not like SRH is facing this problem this season. That's always been there. They've been consistently performing. They've won that championship once, and they've been making the playoffs for 6 seasons in a row. So you have to give the management some credit that they've been doing some things right. Now coming to Warner being dropped, I was like, fine. Like if you want to drop him because his batting was affecting his captaincy. Last match versus CSK, the biggest problem for me was not SRH losing, but the lack of imagination in his captaincy. Suchit in his first over went for 15 runs. You have Vijay Shankar. Like, I'm not a big fan of Vijay Shankar. Anyone who has heard me speak or seen my tweets knows that. But he didn't even try to bowl him 1 over. Or Kedar Jadhav can bowl, right? He's not even bowling that. He just went into his like tunnel vision and he continued to give Suchit the overs. It went 3 overs 45 and match was anyways done. Match was gone. Like 170 was a below par score. So now coming to this match, I think SRH took that decision and everyone was like, oh my God, they took this. It is as equivalent to dropping Kohli from RCB. It is like dropping Rohit Sharma from Mumbai. I disagree with that construct because the expectation of a foreign player is a lot more in general at an IPL franchisee, and franchises are more cutthroat with foreign players. Indian players, you have 7. Even if 2 Indian stars are not performing, they can carry on the whole season. 1-2 matches, they will win you. It's fine. But for foreign players, it's a lot more expectation. And especially with SRH, given the structure of their team, you expect even more from foreign players. So that whole aspect, I completely agree with what the management tried to do. There are 5 losses. You have to do something. You can't just keep on continuing to do that. Then coming to today's match, I think they had the right idea. 3 things went badly for them. One was that review which they took against what's his name, Yashasvi Jaiswal. Boss, he will get out anyways. Why are you wasting your review on him? That's my first problem.
Good point. Very good point.
You have to be tactical. You have to be tactical. And that was not like plum LBW and umpire didn't give. It was like always 50-50 or like you don't waste your review on like a random extent. So because of that, after that, getting Rashid balled early, it was important because if you could get Samson or Butler, the match would have been like 170, 180 and that could have been chased. Now you lost your review, Butler was plum, umpire didn't give and you didn't have a review. Done. Then Vijay Shankar, our 3D player, misjudged the catch, dropped Butler. Then you have Manish Pandey dropping Samson. Right? So these 3 things, they changed it up a lot. And because of that, and Williamson, to his credit, was still trying to get them out. He was not willing to bowl the 5th bowler. He took that gamble, right? Like, because I want to get them out. He tried a lot, but it didn't work out. So it's okay, right? Like they tried something. I'm disappointed that they lost, but at least I'm like, they tried something. You drop catches, you lose matches, you screw up your review, you lose your match. So it's fine. Like I guess now the season is up for pride because if they had won this match, it would have been 2-5. And last season, SRH were down after 9 matches, 3-6, and they still made the playoffs.
We still have mathematical chance. We still have
but like, dude, like you're 1-6 and winning 6-1 this will be like greatest ever IPL.
It's not mathematical chance. You have to win literally every match now to actually get to 16 points.
So, Suman, just to add to Adi's point, if I may, I think there are 2 points here. See, Warner as a captain, Warner as a batsman. I think there are 2 different things, is what I feel. As a captain, I think I completely agree with Adi. Not up to the mark, not really being able to experiment, think outside the hat, think according to the situation. Absolutely not able to do it. And right decision to get Kane as a captain. But as a batsman, I still feel Warner has got tremendous psychological advantage when he's in the team. His sheer presence unnerves bowlers, right? 1. Second, most important, as again Adi mentioned, when you look at the non-foreign players in SRH, right, the Indian, there is nobody, recognized batsman from the India team, if I may say. All other teams have got good Indian batsmen, whereas SRH is probably the only team which is not having a good batsman from the recent 2020 successful teams, if I may say. Like, for example, Vijay Shankar is not a batsman. They should not play him at number 4-5. Get him only as a bowler. Play him only as a bowler and who can bat. Right? Not as a batsman who can bowl. Fundamental. Get him to bowl slower ones and all of that. Use him more. 1. 2, try to see for other, I don't know why they're missing Indian talent. And because they're missing Indian good batsmen, you need to play Jason Roy or Warner. Like as Vaishak said, you need a strong. So 3 batsmen, 1 bowler. That's the combo they need to have. Or you make Nabi play at number 3, right? Give him the license. Go for it. Make some 20, 30 runs if possible. Go for the gamble if you're taking Nabi. No point in Nabi playing so late and just giving him 1 over only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was disappointed they opened with Manish Pandey, right? Like, boss, you're chasing 220. If you're chasing 170, 180, Manish Pandey can hit his 30 of 20 balls or like whatever, and it's fine. So I was hoping they would open with Samad or Nabi or someone else and just try, right? Like, you have to try something. You can't, like, again, Samad, he has so much hype and he's a very clean hitter of the ball. You're getting him when the required run is 15 again, right? What's the point?
Yeah.
And this goes back to the same point, if which I've been saying earlier, also, someone, if you remember, players like, say, Nabi or Samad, who are real hitters, like even Pollard, EBD, right, and Andre Russell, get these players at 10 overs when it's 10th over, 11th over. See, yesterday, Pollard, he had 10 overs to create mayhem yesterday.
Yeah.
Give them that time, give them that place, that much of overs to play, and they will create wonders. Bring them early.
Yeah.
No point in keeping them as finishers. Don't keep them as finishers. Get them as scorers.
Yeah, and like this Vijay Shankar, I fully agree. Like Vijay Shankar, boss, he's not a good batsman. Today also, when actually he came in, the required run was not too bad. It was 12, and he hit like 8 of 8. Like, boss,
and that
I would have
Nabi
been
was
happier
required.
it was 0 of 1.
Yeah, that time Nabi was required. Big hitters are required. Samad is required, not Vijay Shankar.
Yeah. And one last question on Sunrisers before we switch to Joss Butler, because I'm taking nothing away from his 124 in a 20-over game. Shraddha Tiwari has a valid question. Again, full benefit to Nabi. Nabi is unfair, I get it. But would Jason Holder probably would have fitted today in the 11 in a better combination?
I think it's not the problem. First thing I would like to say is, like, SRH's strongest suit, bowling, is not clicking this IPL. Because arguably they had the best bowling side in the competition, and it's not clicking. Bhuvneshwar Kumar looks out of the ball. Sandeep Sharma is not getting a swing. So only Rashid Khan seems to be performing, and I think even today he bowled pretty well. Yeah. So he's the only bowler. So teams are actually seeing that play out as 4 overs, you can target the rest of the 16 overs. That's the clear strategy which they are using against SRH. If you play 4 overs, 30 runs, giving 1 wicket to Rashid Khan, that's a victory for the opposition. That's precisely what they're doing. And so I think mainly the problem is with the bowling for SRH. And for batting, I think Jason Holder would not have made any difference, because again they would have targeted them. That's why I mentioned Jason Rock, because somebody at the top who can give you that impetus is what was required. That's where they missed, because Warner in full flow, that's what he does. He gives you that required impetus, he goes hard, and he gives a good start along with Bairstow. Now, again, if you see, England has been doing pretty well, because that Jason Roy and Bairstow combination has been firing for them at the top. So SRH should have gone with that, and that instead of 6 overs 57 today, maybe they would have got 6 overs 80 if those two would have fired together. And then it would have been a little easier for the middle order, or even if one of them had carried on, maybe they could have got much more closer. But again, as Adi and Vivek already mentioned, right, it's problem with the middle order. There's no established batsman out there in the middle order, which is actually costing them. And Williamson is not a kind of batsman for 220 kind of score. He ideally is a 160, 170 when you're chasing. He's your ideal batsman. But for he doesn't give you that strike rate of 180, 190 or something. He scores at a steady strike rate of 130, 140. So he was not the ideal person. I saw one of the comments saying that he played a Warner-esque innings today. That is what he can do maximum, because he is that kind of a player. He is not a player who can come and hit the ball straight away. He needs time. He'll take time, and at the end he gets going. That's the kind of player he is.
But somewhere, Vaishak, just to I really like that question where including a Holder would have been a good decision, because he would have got one more better bowler, and Jason Holder bowls very well with the new ball, right? I mean, he's not easy to be hit, especially when Bhuvi is not in great form. Bhuvi is totally out of sorts this time. So and plus they could have got him again if you get him earlier to bat, like instead of Vijay Shankar's position. He could have made something. He could have made an impact.
Yeah, they misused Nabi. Like in that point, I actually would have tried to open bowl Nabi in the power play. He actually does pretty well in the power play. Does it well in BBL and for Afghanistan as well. So they missed a trick there too. And Holder, to your point, he's been good with the ball. So he just got dropped out because of, okay, you need more batsmen, Kelly Williams in his plate and like all that. But yeah, like this is the challenge. And I think the biggest challenge is SRH bowling not clicking. Batting, you are never expected. SRH is never the team who will score 180, 200 all the time, or their batting is not winning them the games more or less. It's the
SRH
discipline.
never chased 200 in IPL.
Yeah, never chased, and also they never hit 200 also. They are happy with 180 and our bowling will defend to 160 or 165 and boring match, but like what matters is you win the match, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think they're also missing Natarajan. I think last season he was a revelation. That was the core reason why people were believing that SRH has such a good bowling attack, because there's Natarajan, there's Bhuvi, there's Sandeep, and then there's Rashid. Four. Sandeep, for some reason, not finding any swing this season. Every season, he would have given you like 1 or 2 wickets in the power play. And then Bhuneshwar, I'm disappointed as an Indian cricket team fan, because he's core to our T20 World Cup plans. If he's having such a bad IPL, then a whole balance goes about. And I wouldn't want to trust like Shardul or like some other players coming into Bhuneshwar's place, right? Shami is also not doing so well, like, okay, right? So those are concerns for Team India. And to the earlier point, like Rashid today, they just scored 24 runs off his overs, right? And then the other bowlers, they scored 16 overs, 190 plus, right? So that itself was like so bad. But leaving SRH aside, full credit to Josh Butler. He was very scratchy. I saw a stat where he scored 1539 balls. And then in the last 25 balls, he hit 75 runs. So that is like the acceleration, like 120 strike rate to 300 strike rate, right?
Yeah, I remember he was 35 of 32 at one point of time, right? And then he moved quickly to 50. But to me, I think that is what is something amazing about these great players, right? These international players. Sometimes they take time to settle in, and that's why I feel Warner and you have to give him that let him be in the team. Right, he will make that impact. There'll be one match where you will see the real color coming out, right? A real Warner coming out. And if you see throughout this series, Butler has not made that impressive a game, except for one odd here and there. But today he came with flying colors. So you have to trust your overseas players.
Yeah, I guess with RR they have a problem of choosing overseas players. They got Jofra out, they got Liam Livingston out, they got Stokes out. So it's not like they have players to replace Butler. SRH had this problem of plenty. You had Nabi, you had Holder, you have Jason Roy sitting. So that expectation is there that they pull out Warner and do this. There's one aspect to this, I think. They dropped Warner for one match, which makes sense. Is if you actually don't drop Warner and make Kelly Williamson captain, it looks bad on Warner. That, hey, your captaincy is not up to the mark. Now, how I'm thinking is they might get him back for the next match, saying that, hey, we just want a leadership change. You got a break. Now Warner is fired up as well. And also, I think the cameramen and the broadcast also were concentrating so much on Warner. Literally every over, they were showing more on Warner than like Kane Williamson. If you actually look at the amount of time who was shown in SRH team when SRH was bowling, I would think Warner was shown more than Williamson or anyone else. So they got some masala, right? Like to show like, hey, there's this rift or like something's going on, just showcase Warner and all that. So it has added to that. And obviously all the fans of SRH are also pretty pissed off. And this is the thing, right? If SRH had won, this would have been like, okay, fine. It's done. Now, given the big loss, now it's like poured, like, what do you say? Like there's a fire and you're pouring like ghee or like you're pouring oil into the fire. Now it's become so much more, and Twitter is full of like everyone questioning, why are you dropping Warner? But I think actually, maybe I would be open to getting Warner back in the next match. Like he's got his mental break now and he's like fully focused. You just do batting. You're like one of the IPL greats as a batsman. Come back, play with freedom. I think the next match is also here itself in Delhi. So, yeah, it's a flat pitch.
They are not going to bring Warner back because during the Bayliss interview during the innings, he was asked this question saying, will Warner be brought back? He said, we want to give long run to the people who have come in. So I doubt they will bring him in. What about Sudeep Tyagi? He opened the innings, 140 clicks, What do you guys think about his bowling? Shubdeep is asking about that question.
Yeah,
So I
Karthik
was,
Tyagi, I
I was
think
an
he was like an under
Karthik
19.
Tyagi. Yeah.
He's an under 19 guy, right? And he bowled really well. I was impressed with him last season, so not surprised. But him, Avesh Khan, all these Indian fast bowlers, I would prefer these people over your Harshal Patels and Shardul Thakurs. Like I have been saying that always, but very good prospect.
so
Yeah.
I love
You
the
see
way
him, right?
he
Last season
started.
also he bowled pretty well.
The,
And even in the under 19 circuits, I have seen him. He used to bowl Yorkers with the new ball. And he used to castle the batsman. So he is actually a good prospect. And he used to, at that young age, tender age of 18 or 19, he used to bowl at 140 plus. So, and even last season, he was pretty good. And he was hustling the batsman with few short deliveries and getting wickets. So, he's actually a very good prospect for RR. I think any day he is better than Jaydev Unadkat. That is one thing which I
absolutely.
would like to say.
Absolutely. The one thing which I would say is it's very heartening to see him ball 142, 143 consistently. Right, that was fantastic. The one thing which I felt he could do more is become less predictable. So probably he has to work on variations, and I didn't see variations coming through. And what I could see is people like when Manish Pandey could pick him and hit him for 2 sixes in an over. That shows at international level people will pick you if you are not able to create variation. If you're going to ball the same pace and you will ball one short ball, right, per over. After that, the moment umpire says this one short ball is done, they will know, batsman will know that you're going to come either at a stump or somewhere at waist height. So that is where I feel he has to mature. And I think but I'm very happy to see him. It's really refreshing to see Indian bowlers bowling 142 plus consistently. Wow.
Yeah, and congratulations to Rajasthan Royals, definitely. So switching gears to the second game, Punjab Kings versus Delhi Capitals. Unfortunately, KL Rahul is out sick. So any word on Mayank Agarwal being replaced as captain? Thoughts?
I think they did a wise choice because they did not do the same mistake of giving somebody like an overseas player like Gale the captaincy. Because overseas players again eat up a spot, as I always say. So it's better because last match Mayank Agarwal was not there. I think Gale was captaining for a while when KL Rahul was out for some time. But today that Mayank Agarwal has put back, I think it was a sensible option. I have not. There were arguments that should Shami captain or something, but I have not seen Shami captain anywhere. So I think Mayank Agarwal is a good choice to captain, and they also made a good choice getting in David Malanan because Puran looks awfully out of touch. So I think that was also a good call. But I am pretty surprised that Kisgale is still not opening and is batting at number 3. Now that Rahul is not there, you need your best batsman to play the maximum number of overs. Currently, Kisgale is the best batsman in that lineup who can take the game away from the opposition. But I'm still surprised that they've gone with Prabsimran Singh and Mayank Agarwal. And I think Prabsimran Singh can bat at 3 and Gale should have opened the innings today.
Yeah, maybe I think Vishak on that one, they want to save Gale, right? Because he's been playing well at number 3. They don't want him to expose him to the new ball and all of that, and let his wicket go away. So they are okay to just that he comes a little later and then continues his bat throughout. So maybe that's a thought process.
Yeah, like I would agree with that viewpoint because Gale, given his age, I think he's 41 now, he actually is more effective versus spinners than pacers. Because given his age, I think he is not able to hit the pacers as much. So what he's giving Punjab Kings in the middle overs when spinners are bowling is, I think he took apart Chahal in the last match, right? Or other spinners as well. He took apart them and like he scored a lot of runs. So that aspect or like that dynamism he's bringing in those overs. And Gale, obviously, as we know, can't run quickly as well, right? So you get spinners, he will smoke them for 1 or 2 sixers and over, and that's like job done. So it's okay. Like let's see. Perseverance, like I'm seeing the score. They're off to like a slow start, and just now Perseverance he got out. So Gale is coming anyways in the 4th over, I guess.
Okay.
So we have him here, and he'll be facing Rabada. So this is a good chance for DC to kind of close the match if they're able to get Gale within like the power play. Then it'll be really tough for Punjab Kings to come back because especially with Rahul not being there.
Yeah, with KL not being there, the batting looks very weak.
Yeah, the psychological impact with KL not being there.
Yeah.
It's like opener and captain, right? Both not being there. Big psychological impact.
You've literally lost your best player. So it's definitely going to be a impact.
Yes, actually, you lost 3, right? Just like Dhoni was. I mean, but Dhoni was not opener, so you can't say that. But a captain, an opener, and a keeper. So somebody who runs the game from behind the stump makes a big difference.
That's a great point. Captain, opener, and keeper. It's impact. It's a gap. We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully they do well, because else, for the sake of close points table, I want Punjab Kings to win, but I think DC will win. Like, they're too strong here, and if DC win, then the 4 teams are kind of running away, and the IPL overall gets boring as well. If the top 4 teams are running away, that's like Mumbai, Chennai, RCB, and Delhi. So you need some of these top 4 teams to keep losing for hope of like some other teams to rise up. Right. So,
Yeah. Okay, great. And last question before we drop. People are asking, any uncapped players should be considered for T20 World Cup squad from IPL? Anybody stands out? Avish Khan, maybe?
Yeah. He's really balled his heart out. He's been really, really good. Really a great, can I say, great find, if I may say. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would actually go with
Brar, who have been highlighted here, right? It's too early for them because it's just that they have played around 2. Brar has just played 1 match and has picked up 3 wickets. Give him a long rope. He's just come in, give him a long rope, see how he performs. You cannot select a player just on 1 match. So and even Bishnoi, that Punjab team themselves did not have confidence in him for them to play him in the first 4 matches. Then only he got in. Right, so these players should be given a longer rope. But I think Avesh Khan has done really well. But if this, because we have heard that there will be a 22-member squad for T20 World Cup, definitely you can carry some extra baggage, and Avesh Khan should make the cut. He should be one person who can make the cut there.
And I feel Bishnoi as well. Bishnoi, I don't know, I didn't understand. For some reason, he was not played all this long. But even in the last time, he's really good. And if you see the fielding, the way he's contributed, but for 1 catch, I think in one of those matches earlier, he's been fabulous in his fielding. And that shows a lot of commitment, effort, that you really want to do well, which makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I would say this, right? The spin bowling department for India in limited overs kind of looks bare now, because you had Kuldeep and Chahal who did so well for like 3 years. Now Kuldeep can't even get into KKR squad, let alone KKR playing 11, let alone Indian playing 11. Chahal also is, Kohli doesn't trust him anymore. Even in RCB, he's not even giving him like full quota of overs now, let alone like getting him to the Indian team. Even in the England T20 series, he dumped Chahal and he got in Rahul Chahar. So there is an open spot left, and you have to take 3-4 spinners. I think one of them is Jadeja. Given his all-round abilities, he kind of walks into the team. So Jadeja's spot is there. Now the other spinner spot in the playing 11, and you need like 2 more in the squad. So that is all open for people to get into. Rahul Chahar is doing okay. Bishnoi is there in the mix. Varun Chakravarti, I would actually want him in the team, assuming he can pass the yo-yo test or is fit. That's like a bigger question mark. But he's the mystery spinner. None of the international teams have seen him. So he could be your trump card during the World T20, where he could open in the power play overs. And that way what happens is you can actually keep Bumrah and Bhuvi, or like your death bowlers, more towards the end. You have Varun Chakravarti sort of bowler bowling 3 overs in the power play. That like changes the whole dynamic. And if you can play, like, again, I'm making casuals in there, if you can pay Sundar, Jadeja and Varun Chakravarti, what happens is Sundar and Jadeja can bat as well. That gives you a lot more flexibility to actually play Sundar and Jadeja at 5 or 6 and then Hardik. It creates like a lot more balance and bowling options for you. But yeah, let's see how that goes.
Okay, excellent. And people have taken the
very
game gold as personally. Yeah.
I can see a very interesting message coming through.
He's taken the comment of Gale being old personally, maybe. Anyway, excellent. Listen, Viv, Adi, and Vishak, thanks very much for making time. Adi, I think 8 more games, man. I'm sure we are going to win. I'm sure it is not far. So hold up the spirits. And Vishak and Viv, thanks for your inputs. Rajasthan Royals, congratulations, and enjoy the rest of the Sunday. And please stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe. Bye.